Carner and Kurt Thomas a little later on in our program, but now we are ready for the Canoe Kayak Championships, the World Championships from Jonquiere, Quebec, and for that, let's join Frank Lieber.
Thank you, Dick. We're located about 350 miles north of Montreal, in the northern province of Quebec, on the Rivière aux Sablés. That's about the best I can do in my pidgin French. This is treacherous, and this is also the site of the 1979 World Whitewater Championships for canoe and kayak. Competitors from 21 countries, almost 400 of them on hand for this event, which is being staged outside of Europe for the very first time. This is Bob Alexander. Bob is a member of the U.S. team, has been in the sport for about 20 years. You might tell us how whitewater slalom works.
Well, it's a course set on about 800 meters of rapids, moving whitewater, 30 gates set for the fastest kayak down the course.
And there is a lot of power in that whitewater, as you can see, a lot of beauty and a lot of danger. What about this course, Bob?
Well, the object is to go fast, and you've got to use the water to help you out, and that water is really important.
Takes a lot of, whoops, look out. That can happen to you. What happens in that case?
Well, you're not disqualified. Instead, you just have to roll up. The only time you can get disqualified is if you do fall out.
That's an Eskimo roll, huh?
Absolutely.
Now, how about the gates? There are different types of gates.
Well, the object is to run the gates clean. In other words, you don't want to hit those poles. You get penalized for hitting the poles. You've got a gate like this one, which is an upstream. If you touch one pole, you get a penalty. You notice the green pole is always on your right, and the red pole always on your left. You've got a reverse gate, which is another type of gate on the course, where you've got to go through backwards. And then you've got a forward gate, which is usually the most common gate on the course.
How about penalty seconds?
Well, it's 10 seconds, which is what he just did there, that 10 seconds from hitting one pole. You get 10 seconds for each pole you touch, and you get 50 seconds for missing a gate completely or going through in the wrong direction.
As we said, there's elements of danger. How about the man in the frogman suit there?
That man in the frogman suit's there to help you out in case you go for a swim. Going for a swim, having fallen out of your boat, obviously. The wetsuit keeps him warm because the water is generally pretty cold. And this is a demonstration of what can happen to you and the type of help you can get. Notice the rope attaching him to the shoreline. That rope is to help the frogman out once he's got a hold of you, because the water is so powerful that you just can't swim in it. Just no way. So keep in mind, once again, the object of the game is get down the course as fast as you can, get through the gates, and stay dry if you can. And that's a very, very big chore indeed. Canoes and kayaks. There are 8 different categories here. Competitors from all over the world involved. In this, the finals in the C2, the Canoe 2 competition, the West German national championship team, Dieter Welsink and Peter Soprania, and they are tough. They're the tops. They've just won the World Championships. This is a repeat of their run, and you can see they just work together so well. They've lived together. They've trained together. They've been in a boat for 7.5 years training, and it shows. You can see the power that they put on that boat, and the timing is so good. Now they're going back upstream again. All right, there's one of those upstream gates. This is a really tough upstream gate. That current in the eddy is just moving in all different directions, literally, and it makes it really hard to get that gate clean without hitting any poles. What about the basic differences between canoe and kayak racing? Well, in a canoe, you're kneeling. You're sitting up much higher in the boat because you're kneeling. You're using one blade. These fellows, as you can see, are using just one blade. In the kayak, you're sitting with your legs out in front of you, and you're using 2 blades. What are they wearing around their waist there? That's called a spray deck or a spray skirt, and that's to keep the water out of the boat. If you didn't paddle with one of those, you'd sink easily by the time you got to about gate 5 on a course like this. The East Germans and the Czechs have dominated this, but the Americans now coming on strong here in recent years. That's because the Americans are young. There's a new crop of Americans that just don't believe the East Germans are going to hang around forever, and the Czechs are going to be good forever, and they're really working, and they're really working hard, dedicating full seasons to just training. The winning run in Canoe 2 with the West German national champions Dieter Welsink and Peter Soprania, and we will be back with more of the 1979 World Canoe and Kayak Championships from Jonquiere, Quebec, in just a moment. Frank Lieber along with Bob Alexander back once again to what certainly has to be one of the most beautiful spots in all of North America, Jonquiere, Quebec, the site of the 1979 World Canoe and Kayak Championships. Finals coming up now in C1, Canoe 1 competition, and you're looking at Jürgen Schnitzerling, one of the top contenders, a West German. He's in 4th place following his first run. Right now, he's probably the best paddler in position to break up an American sweep. The Americans are in 1, 2, and 3 right now, and Schnitzerling's right in there with him. He's only 1 second out of 3rd place. And if he keeps his run clean and increases his time, speeds it up, he'll break it up.
He needs to beat a time of 2:38.49 seconds. That's accumulated time down the course plus the penalty seconds. This man, the 1978 Europa Cup champion, he's really into the whitewater now.
He's still running clean, and he's running well. He can keep that time going, keep his speed up, not waste any time anywhere. He can keep right in there and possibly break up that sweep.
Americans doing beautifully in this event so far. Their best showing ever. And back to the starting line now. You're looking at Bob Robinson. Bob is a 17-year-old high school senior from Fairfax, Virginia. He is third following the first run, in good position. And 2 years ago in Austria in the World Championships, he finished fourth at the tender age of 15. They start him young in this sport.
Pretty incredible, isn't it? Well, Bobby's really been working hard. He's been training hard. He trains with the other two fellows that are paddling C1, and he's good. With this type of paddling, you can see why there's a good chance we may just sweep this class.
This course is fairly calm till you get to about this point. Then it gets a little rough.
Just about the time you begin to get tired and you feel, God, I could really use a rest. These guys are just getting tired out. That's when the river gets tough, and that's when the course gets even tougher.
Well, he's fairly... Oh, he was clean to that point.
Well, that penalty could hurt. Could easily lose that first place bid with that penalty. He's just got to increase that speed now, get that time down even further to move up.
He's third in the rankings right now, trying to improve on that. The United States has a chance for a 3-medal sweep in this competition, and the one man...
Oh, that other penalty could hurt again.
And here's Schnitzerling down the course a bit, the West German. He's fighting his way through.
This is one of the toughest moves on the course. If you make this move good, you can do it. If you don't, you can lose a lot of time on the course. This is a... that's going to be trouble.
Problems.
That could hurt. It's going to really hurt now. He's got to go way down, come back up the eddy to try to make that move again.
What did he do there?
He just didn't have the angle. You need a certain type of angle. You've got to get that angle perfect. You've got to have your strokes timed well to make that ferry across to that next upstream gate, which is probably the toughest gate on the course.
Well, is that the end of it as far as he's concerned?
Oh, I'd say so. It looks like the Americans are just going to sweep it. Now it's just a matter of who's going to sweep it from the Americans. Who's going to be first, who's going to be second, or who's going to be third.
Meanwhile, Bob Robinson tearing down the course, looking for a gold medal himself, and he's in the height of the whitewater right now.
Looks like he may have too many penalties. It's going to be tough. He's just got 60 penalties. It's just too many penalties, that number up in the corner. And it looks like he knows it, too. He's starting to slow down a little bit, hitting a few more gates here and there. It's going to be tough.
How about his technique? He goes from side to side. Is that unusual?
It used to be. The Americans started a new technique about 4 or 5 years ago, and the Europeans laughed for quite a while until now the Americans are starting to end up in the top few places. That switching technique really helps on moves like that, where it just ends up in the gate. Just really nice.
Europeans surprised to see that particular move a couple of years back, huh?
Oh, boy, they were. That ferry went pretty well. He's a little bit low, but he's still in the ballpark. It's a lot better than having to take 2 tries. That gate 22 is going to be that tough gate again. And if he can run that clean, that'll be good. But, penalty. Another one. 2 penalties right there. That's definitely out of it. He's going to have to hold on to his first run. He looks like third place, and that's it.
2/3 of the way down the course right now and heading for the finish line, but it looks like it's going to be a 3rd place finish, which would be an improvement over 2 years ago where he finished 4th.
Definitely an improvement. You can't really be upset.
And again, he's only 17 years old. He's got a long way to go, but keep in mind there's 2 more U.S. contenders back up on the course, and on the starting line right now is David Hearn. Hearn is a 20-year-old junior out of the University of Massachusetts. He lives in Garrick Park, Maryland, and he has been outstanding.
David's a national champion 3 times now, and he's a real technician on the water. He's clean, he's fast. He and John Lugdale have just been pushing each other all spring. David's won most of the races this spring, including the U.S. team trials, but Lugdale's been right on his tail.
Now, he was second at the end of the first run, so he has a chance for the gold medal if he can stay clean and move down that course like he'd like to right now.
He was clean on that first run, so he's got a really good run to fall back on. He's got nothing to lose. He's got to go for it all. His clean run, if you can keep it up now, he's doing well.
Takes experience, takes balance, takes strength. You got to know a little bit about the physics of water, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. That water, you've got to be able to read the water, figure out where the water's moving downstream, where it's not moving downstream, where it's actually moving upstream in the eddy. You've got to use that water to turn your boat. If you're sharp, you let the water do all the steering. You can use your power strokes, just like he's using here in this upstream, just to move your boat forward.
And in that case,
do the steering.
He let the water do the moving for him.
Exactly. When you let the water do the moving for you, you don't use much work, you save energy. Another good move on an upstream. That's one of David's top moves, these upstream gates. That's where the Americans have begun to excel in this class.
In the last quarter century, no nation has bested the East Germans in this competition. They've been the leaders in the International Slalom World Championships. Listen to the crowd urging Hearn on.
Another nice upstream move. This is a tough move. He's still got a clean run. He's looking.
Oh, look out. I thought he was going over that time.
Well, I think he had things under control, but not real well. He's strong. He's looking good going up this eddy, but he was low. It could cost him. It could cost him the race. Even without penalties, that's a lot of time wasted going up to that upstream. He's losing a little time here again, even though he was across. He lost some time in that hole.
A lot of these teams arrived several weeks in advance for preparation. Now you're back at the starting line. You're looking at the young man we were talking about, 18-year-old John Lugbill, a freshman out of the University of Tampa. He is from Fairfax, Virginia, and he's noted for a very unorthodox style.
Oh, absolutely. He's strong, he's muscular, he switches sides all the time.
David Hearn down at the bottom end of the course right now. He's very close to that finish line. One more gate to go.
He's looking good. He's got a good time. Just what he's got for penalties is what's important now. His time is in there. It could be, well, he's slow. It's going to be tough. It looks like John Lugbill's just probably going to be there.
We'll have to wait to see the official results. However, here's Lugbill back in the course.
Nice upstream. Nice upstream. He's got this move wired. He's just so smooth.
Look at him go through that water.
Nice move on that upstream across the river. He's really smooth. Just best move of the day.
These fans out in force on the rocks on the hillside, really enjoying this international competition. The first time that the World Championships have ever been held outside of Europe.
That power. Watch John come out of this upstream. Just offside, smooth, powerful strokes, even on his offside. That's really unorthodox. Europeans never used to do that. Americans are John's just pulled that out of the hat and really shown some nice moves. Looking more and more like a 1-2-3 American sweep, which has never happened before. How about the weight of these boats? These boats are really pretty light. You'd be amazed. They're most of them are under 20 pounds. A few of them even under 15 pounds. Not much weight to move around with your body. Talking about the dominance of the Americans in this event, what's made the difference here? Has it been coaching? Some coaching. The coaching has been well organized. These fellas are out every day. The coach is out with them every single day. These guys have pushed each other every day. They train together all the time, and so it's all the time. They don't intimidate each other. They just push each other, and they work together. They're not afraid of the water, not afraid of the Europeans. They really work together. Almost 40 Americans entered on this whitewater team at Jonquiere, Quebec. This is sport which started an international competition back in 1949. And John Lugbill is headed toward the finish line and looking more and more like a gold medal winner. That's really super. God, this sweep is just phenomenal. It's the first sweep ever in this class and the first sweep by U.S. boats in such a competitive class. This has got to be a great moment in whitewater racing for the United States team, which has worked long and hard for this day to come in Jonquiere, Quebec, and it looks like it's going to be a most successful one. Absolutely. These guys are just super. They're really looking good. It looks like it's going to be official now. He has just the one penalty, the 10-second penalty in the upper left-hand side of the screen. And he is heading toward that finish line and heading toward the gold. It's now official. The final results in the canoe singles, a 1-2-3 American finish. John Lugbill, David Hearn, and Bob Robison. And a happy John Lugbill crosses the finish line, and we'll be back with more from Jonquiere in just a moment. Back on the Riviere au Sablé. Time now for finals in K1W, translated kayak one woman. And that one woman is Linda Harrison, a 23-year-old senior out of the University of Delaware from Newark, Delaware, and one of our tops. One of our best. She's won 4 out of the last 5 U.S. National Championships. She was 3rd at the last World Championships. She's really got to go for #1 right now, and that's what she's trying to do. And she is fighting Kathy Hearn, who is well down on the course, and Kathy herself is in the fighting for the gold medal. Currently the #1 position held by Liz Sharman of Great Britain following the first run, and Kathy is trying to beat her time, and if she does, she could wind up with the gold medal, which would be her 3rd of this competition, something that no American has ever achieved. Had a little tough time getting through that gate. A little bit, but she's doing all right. She was 8th at the end of the first run. She was fast enough, definitely fast enough. She had the fastest run of the girls, but she had too many penalties. 60 penalties just put her out of the running. This run she's got going now is good. Even with a 10, she may still be fast enough if she keeps that time going. Kathy is a 21-year-old junior from Hampshire College. She's from Garrett Park, Maryland. Back in the course, Linda Harrison fighting her way down. Linda's looking good. She's looking smooth. She still has a clean run going on her way down into gate 12. She can do it. She's fast enough right now and still clean. Here comes the hard part of the course. Of course, it really separates people. Whether or not you're really good depends upon how well you do this move.
How about the strength factor of the women in this particular race?
There's a lot more technique, although it is a bit of a muscle course. Oh, that penalty is going to hurt. Oh, getting stuck there, getting stuck in that hole is going to really slow her down. That could cost it. That could do it right there. But there's so much room to make up. When you get down around gate 21 or 22, you can make it up.
Watch Kathy Hearn now. She, of course, is the older sister of David Hearn, who we saw earlier in the Canoe 1 competition. She's got a solid chance at that gold medal if she can finish this run, and she looks pretty good.
I think she's going to do it.
Oh, it's very
she's
close.
Done it.
She has done it by a margin of 1/2 second. She leads Liz Sharman by that margin. As we go back down, watch Linda Harrison. Now, Linda's the only one who can catch her.
Linda's right now in 3rd place. She's got a good run. She still has that 10, but she can go fast enough to break into the top 2, possibly even that 1st place. It all depends on what she does here in these last 2 gates.
Our women's team as strong as our men's team?
Just about. They're right in there. The other boat's right in there in the top 10 as well.
She's heading down toward the finish line.
Oh, that penalty's going to do it. There's just no way she can do it now.
Hit that particular pole, and that was it. So it looks like it's going to be Kathy Hearn. Kathy is our champion. And that is her 3rd gold medal. Liz Sharman of Great Britain is 2nd, and Linda Harrison of the United States finishes 3rd. You know, this was an Olympic sport once, back in 1972, and there's a move afoot among the various international federations to get it back into the Olympics for 1984. Bob, what do you think of the chances?
I think the chances are good. There's a lot of enthusiasm among all the federations. The organizing committee in Los Angeles is very open-minded. I think there's a good chance we may just see it there.
It's an exciting sport, no question about it, and we certainly have enjoyed our visit here in Quebec. And for Bob Alexander, this is Frank Lieber saying so long from beautiful Jonquiere, Quebec. And now, back to Dick Stockton.